If you're struggling with finding your passion or figuring out what type of work you want to do in your life or your next project, this video is going to help you because I'm going to tell you three different stories, three different biographies of three guys and how they had very unique paths. So the first one is Marco Pierre White. For those of you who don't know, Marco Pierre White is one of the most famous chefs in the culinary world. He trained Gordon Ramsay. Today he's a true chef, loves the work. But what you wouldn't know is that at the age of 17, his dad told him, hey, you're 17 now. You're done with school. This was like in the 70s. Here's some money for the bus. You're going to go to the nearby hotels, knock on the kitchen door, and try and get a job. So he was doing this because his dad told him. So Marco takes the bus, goes to where the hotels are, and the first kitchen door that he knocks on, he says in his book and in a bunch of different interviews,
I knocked on the door. And the truth is, I never wanted that door to open. It opened. Trevor, the kitchen porter, opened the door to my new life.
So you can tell at the very beginning, he just wasn't sure. He was just going off his father's orders. This wasn't something that, it wasn't his idea. He didn't think he wanted to do it. And I think some bad advice these days people say is it should be a full body yes. Well, in this guy's situation, it was a full body no, and yet he became one of the top chefs in the world. He was the youngest chef to get 3 Michelin stars up until someone else beat his record. I think it was about 10 or 15 years later. Michelle Obama says this too. She talked about this in her interview with Diary of a CEO, that when she finished her bachelor's degree, she went on to become a lawyer, not because it was like, that's what she wanted to do. It was just the next thing.
Princeton, right. I'm in, graduated at the top of the class, go to law school. Why? I don't know. There wasn't really a thought to why I went to law school. It was just, I don't know what I'm going to do after graduate school. Not going to be a doctor because I don't like science or math. I like to talk. I like to argue. And so why not go to law school? So I applied to Harvard, get in. You go to Harvard. You know, that was my thought process. There wasn't purpose. There wasn't, what do I care about? I didn't know what being a corporate lawyer meant. I was just checking boxes.
And so that first lesson is sometimes you just have to harness the opportunity in front of you, regardless of what you feel. The second story is about Cameron Hanes. Cameron Hanes is an ultra endurance athlete. So this guy will run 100-mile races. Sometimes they're over 100 miles. In addition to that, he is a backcountry bow hunter. So he will go out into the middle of the mountains and try and hunt like a deer or something with a bow, not a gun or anything. So he has to like run up close to it. So, not easy at all, requiring tons of skill with the bow. He has had a day job up until he quit only a couple years ago. He announced that he quit his job in 2023. It's now 2025, which means he must have been around 55 years old.
As you guys know, I've been punching that time clock for decades, to be truthful. And I finally retired after 26 years of working for the local water and power company.
So this guy has been training for ultra marathons and mastered the bow, all while having a full-time job. Now, there's a big caveat here, which is he does have a stay-at-home wife, to help him take care of his 3 kids, his whole family. She was doing a lot of that housework to open up his time and space to be able to accomplish these other things. The lesson here is you don't have to quit your job in order to pursue a passion, start a project, start a business. This guy worked the job up until his 50s. And this is a big thing because people always feel like they need to quit their job in order to do something. I worked a full-time job while writing music. Me and my band wrote 2 full albums and did 2 tours on the West Coast. So it is possible. You just have to be mindful of your time and where your energy is going. So that's the second lesson. The third lesson is about Leonardo da Vinci, which we all know who that is, the famous painter. And in his biography, it talks about how towards the end of his life, he kind of slowly lost this interest in painting. There's this line that I always remember that it says he could not bear the sight of a paintbrush, which is crazy to think about Leonardo da Vinci not being into painting. The thing is, Leonardo da Vinci had tons of interests. He's known for being a polymath. He was into engineering, physiology, aerodynamics, tons of things. And the lesson here is you may lose some interest in the thing that you're doing. When you go so deep into a subject, You kind of get tired of it. I felt this when I was in a band. Sometimes you don't feel like playing a show, you don't feel like practicing. There were times I didn't feel like writing a song. But I would sit there on a Tuesday afternoon or whatever after work, and I would just sit there and trying to write the song or work on a certain solo or work on lyrics. Even though I didn't feel like it, I would make some progress. Like I'd get a few good lines for the lyrics out, I'd write a few more seconds of the solo. So the lesson here is maybe you've chosen something and a few months in or a few years in, you're not feeling it anymore. But simply understanding that it is normal to get tired of something, a passion, an interest, a piece of work, can lift the weight and make it not so heavy. Because if Leonardo da Vinci got tired of painting, you'll probably get tired of whatever it is you're doing at some stage. And you just need to be aware that you're at that stage. Maybe reel back the amount of time you're spending on that thing or change something about it, but just try not to fully stop. And so I hope these 3 stories have helped you. The first lesson being take whatever opportunity is in front of you. The second lesson being you do not have to quit your job to pursue your passion. And the third lesson being that sometimes you will get tired and bored of it. Store these in your mind and refer to them as you move forward in your pursuit of your passion and fulfilling work. Let me know if you have questions. I will reply to every comment. And thanks for taking the time to watch.